All right, parents. So it's the end of the school year, and you're sitting down with your student because you want to look over the report card and check over their final grades, only to realize that your student has struggled in some of their classes and that final grade isn't what you thought it was going to be. So you're trying to figure out who you can get on the phone, a teacher, a counselor, and talk with them about what happened with your student during the school year. But hold on. You had all year from August until May or June to discuss your student's performance? Hmm. My name is Sierra Griffin, and I am your college admissions coach. So, yeah, you should definitely contact the school to schedule a meeting with a counselor, a teacher, or whoever can meet with you at this time of the school year to discuss your student's final report card. However, I recommend that you enter this meeting with an open mind and with open ears because, again, you had all school year to meet with somebody to discuss your student's academic progress as they reach certain milestones in the school year. So, I want you to think about something though. Have you heard of defund the police? Well, I'm not here to talk about police today, but I do want to tell you that the public education system in America is always being defunded. Anytime the government meets, and when I say government, I mean the federal government, I mean state government, and maybe even the local government, public education is one of the first things to be defunded. So these school systems are working with limited resources. That means limited money, limited people, and they are overwhelmed with students. So they're expected to meet certain goals throughout the school year, but they don't have all the resources that they need to really help them accomplish these goals. So be patient and try to be kind with your student school officials because they are working under pressure and they don't have the resources to do what they need to do. Okay, so you're looking at your students' report cards and you see these grades. Some are good, some are horrible. But do you really understand the importance of grades? Why are grades important? So grades are important for a number of reasons. Number one, grades are important because they measure your students' understanding of the course material being taught to them by their teacher. Grades are also important because they help to create the GPA. Now, I know y'all know what GPA is, but for those of you who don't, GPA stands for Grade Point Average. And the GPA is important because it is one of the first things that universities and colleges are going to see when they meet your students. And the reason I say meet your student is because they don't actually meet your child when they are deciding whether or not they're going to admit him or her. They meet your student on paper. So they meet your student with the college application, with the official high school transcript, the one that displays their GPA. They meet your student with the standardized test scores, the SAT or the ACT. And then they also meet your student when they are reading their essay, their admissions essay. So you want to make sure that your student's GPA is top notch. You and your student want to make sure. And one, maybe the only way to make sure that the GPA is top notch is to nurture and cultivate your student's GPA, you and your student, from the moment they hit the high school campus, their freshman year, all the way until it is time to graduate from high school. And I say all the way until it is time to graduate from high school because some families think that when college admissions time hits, which is usually between August and December of their senior year, that the student can relax. And sometimes relaxing means that the grades relax a little bit too. But you have to keep in mind that you're going to send that official high school transcript again At the end of the school year, when the student has graduated and when the high school updates their transcript with the final grades. So, colleges and universities could easily rescind their offer for admission if somehow the student has relaxed a little bit too much and that GPA has dropped. So, you want to make sure that you are nurturing and cultivating that grade point average from the moment they step on that high school campus until the moment that they graduate from high school. Okay, so you understand why grades are important and you understand how they contribute to the GPA and how the GPA affects college admissions. But do you understand how teachers come up with the grades that they are awarding your student? So teachers likely are using a grading rubric to award your student grades for different assignments. So the rubric is a breakdown of what the teacher is looking for within each assignment. They are used a lot, probably on everything when we are discussing a college education. And they are likely also being used on the high school level. They might refer to them as the curriculum. There's certain things that students need to learn and understand. So you want to make sure that you speak with the teacher and see if they have a rubric for assignments that they can give you so that you and your student can understand what is expected of them from each assignment. Okay, so here's my recommendations for a plan for you and your student to meet with teachers and counselors throughout the school year so that you all are not finding yourself at the end of the school year with a final report card that has some struggle grades. Okay, so number one, you and your student need to schedule an appointment with a teacher or a counselor or both so that y'all can discuss expectations and goals for both sides. You want to meet with the school officials so that you can tell them what you and your student expect for this school year and the goals that you are hoping to accomplish. And then you also want to hear what teachers and the counselors are looking forward to for the school year as far as expectations and goals. All right, number two, you want to have a meeting with your student's teacher after each 9 weeks. And the reason you want to have this meeting is because you will probably have a report card and you want a breakdown of your student's academic performance for those last 9 weeks. You want to understand where your student has excelled in their academics, and then you also want to know where they are struggling so that you and your student can prepare for the next 9 weeks and hopefully improve on the areas where they are struggling. Number three, schedule a meeting before or after your student selects their courses for the next school year. Now, if you meet before they select the courses, everybody, the teacher, the counselor, you and your student can be on the same page about which classes the student will have the opportunity to select. Scheduling the meeting after the fact will allow you and your student, the teacher or the counselor, to review the courses your student selected and make any adjustments so that everybody's on the same page about the end goal that the student is trying to reach. Now, it's important to let your student make their own selections and then you follow up because you want to begin to prepare your student for the next level, which is college and university. And at that level, you are not able to select your students' courses unless they're staying at home with you or unless you make them let you select their courses. But ultimately, your student is the one who will decide which classes they're going to take when they're at the university. So you want to have them start practicing that now. Number four, you want to schedule a meeting with your student's teacher before final exams. And I don't mean like a day or two before final exams. I mean maybe 2 or 3 weeks before final exams so that your student has enough time to practice any information that the teacher has shared during that meeting. Final exams are really important because they weigh a lot and they contribute to the final grade for the class. So you want to make sure that you and your student understand what they need to prepare for the final exams in each of their classes. And number 5, you want to schedule a meeting at the end of the school year when you have the final report cards. You and your student need to meet with their teachers, need to meet with the counselors, and there are a few things that you want to discuss. You want to discuss if the expectations were met, the expectations that you and the teachers set at the beginning of the school year. You want to discuss if your goals were met. Again, these were also discussed at the beginning of the school year. You want to know where your student excelled, and then you also want to know where your student struggled. And then a key thing to ask, what can your student do in the summer to enhance or improve their academics? You want to give them a break in the summer, but you also want to keep them engaged and prepared for the next school year. So ask your teachers or the counselors, what resources are there? Is there a summer school available for them to attend? If not, is there a summer camp, an academic camp for your student to attend? And if that isn't available or if that doesn't exist, ask the instructors, ask the counselors if there are any workbooks that you can look into purchasing for your student so that they get some form of academic engagement during the summer. All right, so we've discussed the importance of grades, the importance of a grade point average. We've discussed learning about the teacher's rubric, and then I've given you a plan for you to discuss your students' grades from the beginning of the school year through the end of the school year. But I know that everybody's school district is different. So if you've been making contact with teachers, with counselors, even principals, and you've been flexible with your schedule, more so to accommodate their schedule, but nobody is responding to you, nobody is following up, and you just cannot seem to get to meet with anybody, it's time for you to think about changing your student school. As an education professional, I work with adult students and I work with high school students. And I like to keep my schedule as flexible as possible so that I can accommodate parent schedules and student schedules. I realize that students are playing sports, they are probably working, they are probably meeting with their school clubs, and of course, parents are working. They're working outside of the home. They are probably taking care of their elderly parents. And so you have to, as an education professional, you have to keep your schedule flexible enough to meet with your families. I always believe that people make time for what they want to make time for. And I believe that in education, you are supposed to go above and beyond for your students. And if you are not getting that feeling, if you're not getting that your student's school is going above and beyond for you and your student, then it's time for you to think about changing your student to a new school. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you click on the thumbs up button to let me know you like it. Also, feel free to leave a comment below and I will respond to you. This is Sierra Griffin and I am your college admissions coach.